TV episode and podcast. Of course, we're back with our early edition of Deconstruction Junction because of the holidays. I'm joined, as always, by the wonderful Tara Praolo studio, live from Minnesota, along with a very rambunctious baby child.
No, that was fully me. That was fully me. That was my water falling to the floor.
At least it wasn't on the computer this time. Hashtag too soon.
Hashtag way too soon. Yeah.
I'm Dr. Float, online coach and mentor. I work in a network called Love in Action Network. We encourage, equip, and empower folks to use their time, talent, and treasure to do good on the planet. And so if you're out there today and you need some support, or you're trying to take things to the next level and you would like some attaboys or some skills, myself, Poppy Water, and Tara Praolo would love to help. Speaking of which, Tara Praolo's on deck today as our co-host. What's good?
Hello, puppet. I'm Tara Praolo. I am your resident white-facing, biracial, multi-passionate musician. And I have butthole lip again. And I talk about the ish that nobody wants to talk about and push you to do the same. See, what happens is I put a lip stain on, but then I ate pizza, and that's greasy, and the lip stains... They go through a lot, but they do not withstand the grease. You know what I'm saying? You can find out more about me at Tara Praolo Studio on all the platforms that matter, and or tarapraolo.com/links, and or lovedandlovable.bio.link, lovedandlovable.bio.link, lovedandlovable.bio.link. I did this vocal warm-up the other day with my teacher, which was like, I can't even remember what it was, but it was... And I was like, this is ridiculous. And it made me think of Loved and Lovable. Anyway.
I'm going to call that the Jetsons warm-up. It sounds like the sound that George's flying car made.
And she was like, make sure that you have your cheeks. Anyway.
Wow. That's Tara Praolo, everybody. Resident white-facing, multi-passionate artist, teaching artist, and bridge. She's awesome. Check her out at Tara Praolo on all platforms. And if you are interested in joining us on platform and deconstructing your thoughts about the world and proximity to your greatness, perhaps consider going through our hiring process over at lovedandlovable.bio.link and linking up with us. We got a few people in pipeline that's going to come on and talk to us and talk about their lives at the intersection of social justice and art and love. And we cannot wait to share those folks with you as well. All right, Tara's in the first topic today, coming right up.
Yes. Would you like to play the video first? Right.
I think people are struggling to see Wicked as a political movie because it was, in fact, workshopped by, originated by, and written for a white woman to play Elphaba. Sekon Singblow was the first black woman to play her on Broadway. I don't know how far into the musical's run that was, but full-time, I'm pretty sure it's always been a white woman. I'm probably wrong, but I know that it still was originated by a white person, and because of that, it has sort of, until now, been a kind of white oppression fantasy of what if a white person wasn't white? How would they be treated? Which is a very empty and tone-deaf position to take. Now, casting Cynthia Erivo, cementing her as Elphaba in the media space, in the cinema space, I should say, closes that gap. There's no longer any guesswork to be done. There's no inference. It is a direct parallel to how we put black women on the forefront of change. We put the world on their shoulders, and then when it comes down to it, we are all like Glinda, and we do not show up for them. We do not get on the broom with them. There's a part in the movie when Madame Morrible literally says the color of her skin, of Elphaba's skin, is a direct manifestation of her internal wickedness. The wizard is a fascist who is committing genocide against the sentient animals. These are thinking, speaking creatures, because he says the people of Oz need someone to blame for their problems, and the animals are a perfect scapegoat. They talk about how historically they ate the sentient animals when food got scarce in Oz. In the penultimate song, Defying Gravity, Elphaba says to Glinda, I hope you're proud how you would grovel in submission to feed your own ambition. Glinda is a privileged white woman who, when push comes to shove, chooses to social climb rather than help her self-proclaimed best friend. So to sit here and say that the movie about the rise of fascism and genocide and, racism, colorism, is not political, you are simply watching the movie with your eyes and ears closed. Because it doesn't even take critical thinking. It just takes listening. You could half pay attention and you should still be able to get that. I know a lot of you guys won't because you are willfully ignoring it. But I think Wicked could not have come at a better time, given the rise of fascism here in America and the active genocide happening in Palestine. So yeah, maybe pay attention. Maybe learn something. Because this anti-intellectualism is going to unalive us all.
Holy moly.
So, what I wanted to say about this, and I'm going to talk about this in my Spill the Beans this week on Friday, before my company comes into town. I see this was like one of the first videos that I saw that combined the idea that Wicked could be both a racialized story and a politicalized story, or a political story. And I think it's really important that we don't separate the two, because I see a lot of people talking about it and they're like, this is Trump. And I'm like, why are we centering a white man? And then they'll be like, it's all about Glinda. Why are we centering a white woman? Like, the story is about Elphaba, who is being played by a Black woman in the context of a story that was written by a white person based off of a novel that was written about the genocide of the Native Americans. Like, this is one of the things about literature that I have learned from Book Talk. And I mean, I've noticed before, but like Book Talk has really cemented it for me, particularly Black Book Talk and Native Book Talk, which is like, the imagination of white people is only what it has already happened. This is why like J.K. Rowling's books are so problematic, even outside of like J.K. Rowling spewing her hatred across the whole internet. Her books are anti-Semitic, they're racist, they're homophobic, there are disgusting tropes throughout the books that are very thinly veiled, that we, many of us never saw as children, and our parents didn't notice them, and because really it's just a retelling of something that's already happened. It's the colonization of African countries by Britain. Right? It is the existence of Jewish people inside of Europe. That's the retelling of Harry Potter, right? And so it's the same thing here, that when we have books and when we have works of art that are written by white people that are often telling the stories of Black and brown and global majority people, that we get this sort of debate. But I really enjoyed that person's video because it did say, like, never once was Ariana Grande mentioned, never once was Trump mentioned. It was just, this is what's happening. There is a rise of fascism and there is an active genocide. And one thing that I never noticed before was how they were treating the animals, right? Like, that they're literally eating the animals. They're eating the animals in Wicked, the ones that talk. And then they're actively silencing them. Y'all remember
Have you not read Gregory Maguire's book?
I've never read the novel. I've only seen the show several times. And so I'm sure the novel digs deeper into it.
It's quite graphic, actually.
While I ring. I'm ringing. She's ringing. We got it. We found it. Lord Google was like, girl.
The book is quite graphic in and of itself. And to your point, this young green woman creature did not ask to manifest on the planet as green, in the same way that nobody Black or brown asked to be black or brown here. And this whole evil, wicked witch narrative that was constructed was exactly that. So is Wicked a race story or a political one? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, because people are being vilified in the way that Elphaba was for something they cannot control. Her father was doing some dirty dealings in the dark that created that situation.
Right. And doesn't it end up, I can't say that part because that's a spoiler. Anyway,
it's been 20 years, you guys.
If you haven't seen it, you haven't seen it. But the wizard is.
Oh yeah.
Spoilers.
Uh-oh.
See the movie. I haven't seen the movie, but I'm presuming it's in the movie.
Next slide because you're on to something that you would have to be paying attention to with the green elixir and the musical
and the dancing. Yeah, listen.
And the dancing.
Have you seen it? Like it's the same. It's
and the way she spreads on the table. And that's a kid's show. Speaking of spreading on the table and kids and shows and what we can protect the kids from, let's talk about book bans. I've been going on all week about book bans. I think they're the most hilarious thing. And I wanted to take some time today to just riff about the fact that I don't think as it relates to people on the internet screaming, they're coming for the books, they're coming for the libraries. Y'all know nothing about how hard drives operate. Y'all know nothing about how zip files operate. You know nothing about the wide open internet and open source technologies because the books are not banned. We're just not telling the kids about them. The books are not locked in the libraries. They're in apps now. If I wanted to give a child in my life a copy of To Kill a Mockingbird, I could just send them an EPUB into their phone. I could send it on open platforms like Telegram and just give it to them and say, read this whenever you want. We all have these radio devices. We're going to have to really be clear about the voices we want to give power to, especially over the next 4 years. I don't take the people who are out here protesting about book bans seriously because we have people who are being treated like Elphaba every day in this country. They need clean water. They need more opportunities to make money. They need food. And while I would like to believe in, the save the books situation, I know too much about technology. There's not a single piece of any kind of content, and I mean any kind of content, that I can't get my hands on right now if I wanted it. Right now. Libraries. This is why all of the librarians are online saying save the library, because you got to save the institution that keeps the lights on in a building that our libraries, this opens a discussion. So I think a baby's being changed in the middle of the show. But this opens a discussion around, are libraries necessary? And I don't want my librarian friends to send me any, doubly spaced messages. But how do you feel about book bans?
Listen, y'all.
Bibliographies.
I understand that book bans. What do I want to say? I understand why y'all get upset about book bans. I do. I get it. Oh gosh. And the reason that I get it is because you have apparently been able to read one of the first steps of fascism/genocide, right? Which is to eliminate the culture, right? And you do that by killing the music, killing the books, killing the, you first eliminate that, right? And so kudos to you for recognizing the first step of genocide right? Um, However, as Dr. Flo was saying, unless our libraries have food and water, kids can't read anyway. Because if a kid is focused on how hungry they are, they're never going to learn how to read, right? And that is such a problem in this country. And so, why are we not continuing to talk about how weird it was that some MAGA people got upset that Tim Walz signed a bill to give the children in Minnesota free lunch? That's a weird thing. It's a weird thing to be mad at. It's weird. So, do libraries have a point? Absolutely. But I think they can serve even more of a point because, again, the people going there, libraries are a third space, which I know is on the list for later, but they are a third space. But a lot of the people that go there and utilize them are hungry and cold and just need to get off the street. They are people that are houseless. And so instead of utilizing the libraries as just a place to have knowledge that people can't even access because maybe they're not educated to look on the computer, they don't know how to use Google, right? Or they don't know how to use the Dewey Decimal System. Or they don't know, or they can't focus because they're so hungry and thirsty. Maybe we should turn them into spaces that are federally funded food banks and actually give out what people need. I know that during the pandemic, some of the locations here did that. They turned into places that gave out sack lunches, and it was less about the books and more about the food. And I think that part is what's being missed. It really, one of the people, or a lot of people say we learn history from reading, but that's not really true because there are thousands of years of oral traditions. And so we can hand down and Black people, quite frankly, because white people leave it out, right? Black people, excuse you, Millie. My goodness, I just farted. Have been left out of a lot of the history books, and yet Black people still have history.
Which leads us to your topic, as we have to rapid fire these subjects now, y'all, in the interest of time. Anti-Indigenous words. I'm going to fire this video over here now and hear from this soul. We'll play that one more time.
So I just brought that because a couple of the last ones I had no idea. That the fort one, no idea.
First of all, folks, none of this is funny at all. Okay, I did not.
It was not on Flo's bingo card.
I did not pre-qualify any of what we were going to do today, so I did not expect to see that gentleman just sitting there, with those things going above his head. It frankly, it's. I've also lost complete control of my screen. There we are. We're back now. So yeah, I didn't know. I've said some of these things, and I did not know that they brought pain to the people. And so these are things that I can work to not say going forward.
Right. That's part of why I wanted to bring it today, just because we are some people are celebrating the genocide and massacre of Native Americans this Thursday, and so you should know, you should educate yourself, you know. But anyway,
I'm not. I'm eating and watching football.
we are. The games are not good for Thursday, so we might be watching Hallmark movies. I don't know.
Who's playing on Thursday?
I don't remember, but I remember the Cowboys always play, and the Cowboys suck this year.
You don't like the Cowboys, and nobody really likes the Cowboys but the Cowboys people.
Well, they suck this year. Like, at least sometimes on Thanksgiving. Yeah, they're playing the Giants. The Giants also suck this year. And they just parted ways with their QB. So, boring game. Public education and religion.
Yeah, y'all. I'm sorry for me trying every view known to. We're finally getting where we want to be. They're trying to put the Bibles into the schools again, and they're trying to bring the Lord's Prayer and things back into classrooms in certain states, and they're pushing the rights down to the states to make that decision. What say you about your kid having to learn about God at school? Is that important for?
Apparently, Piper thinks it's important for them. I'm a horrible person to ask this question to, because I don't believe in any religion or spirituality, really, truly. Like, I don't understand why we think we need that replacement. It's a lot of it to me is a escapism from like true community and from actually talking to each other and from being with each other, and I think that's weird. I just think that's weird. Now, I also think it's weird, and I've always thought this about religions. Like, why must you force your beliefs down my throat? Why? Why? What is the point? And so the Bible thumpers are the ones that are most guilty of this, right? Like, I don't come across a lot of other religions that are like, you must repent to go to heaven, and I'm like, okay, for your God giving me birth on this planet, that's a weird thing to repent for. But okay. So I don't really think religion belongs in school, but I also believe that children and people should be able to explore multiple religions, as I know that you have. I intend to. There's a reason why Piper wasn't baptized. I mean, Piper's grandparents are both sets Christian, great grandparents Christian. I was technically baptized. I did the first communion thing, but I intend to let Piper, when Piper is old enough, explore and learn and decide if they would like to be part of religion at all. And if they would like to be part of a religion, which religion they would like to be part of. I don't think that should be learned at school, potentially by a teacher who has an extreme bias, which many of us have extreme biases about religion. Most people are not like you and me, who are like, whatever, believe in what you want to believe as long as you're not hurting me. Most people don't do that. Most people are, you must believe what I believe, otherwise you are wrong. And otherwise you're not going to heaven, or you're not, taking the yellow brick road. Right? Like, you may not reach the golden gates. You will not return to Hobbiton. You will not be the king of Gondor. None of these things will happen for you.
You'll not get your 20 virgins.
Right. Exactly.
It's wild. Yeah, I never thought about that. I'm with you now. If they're going to introduce a Christian God into the classroom, they have to also introduce all of them.
Yep. And all of them meaning all the ones from indigenous peoples, all the ones from African peoples, I'm talking all
of it, including giving me as a I'm not a Christian anymore, but If I were a Christian student and I wanted time to pray towards the east or the west or whatever they do in Islam, then there needs to be accommodations and mats for the kids to pray and
Correct.
to do their salutations and things like that under that religion as well. I feel.
Correct. Yeah, when I had Piper on that floor, on the postpartum floor, yes, where we stayed for a few days, there was a room dedicated to prayer. Um, and it was an open. It had things from Islam, it had things from Christianity, it had things from Judaism, and I thought that was really cool to just have on that floor. And it was an open thing. It was like, well, you may need to have your private time in this room, but here it is for those of you that do pray. And I
I
think we
like
can
that.
replicate that in school, and instead of, also, the other thing is, like, kids get ostracized by each other because there are religious kids and there are non-religious kids, and that's when we get the staring and the making fun of when people do have prayer times. Well, let's just normalize it. Okay, here's a prayer time, and you pray however you feel you need to pray, right? If your family has taught you to pray facing a certain direction on a mat, then you do that. If your family does not partake in that, then maybe you read a book, but everybody participates in it, not in the belief and not in the indoctrination, but rather in a community of accepting all beliefs that are not harmful, right?
Wonderful. The producers are telling me we got 5 minutes on the clock, so we got to keep moving through. Your topic: fashion is political. We
Yeah, this
got.
is a long. I feel like this is a longer video, so let's save this one for next time.
All right. I feel like we've already talked about safe spaces and third spaces. I feel like right now, people are wanting to belong in the world. Religion is a big reason why people. It's a big way in which people connect in the world, and church is part of that. I'm getting curious these days about where are the areas that aren't church spaces or the library where people are going to have fun and to be joyful and playful humans. And so I wanted to talk a bit about where we are building third spaces and where we are finding third spaces in our lives for like 2 minutes on the clock.
I want to talk about the word safe as well, because I think that some people get that confused with comfort. It's okay to be uncomfortable in a safe space. And you may well be uncomfortable in that safe space that was built for, other people. I often say that, like, and Build the Table was this way, right? That it's going to center those people who are more marginalized, who are more oppressed. But if you are a white person that wants to observe, you may be uncomfortable with some of the things that come out of our mouths, but it's still a safe space for you. It's still a place where you can be, right? You're not prioritized. I'm not talking to you, and I may say some things you don't like about yourself, but it's still a safe space for you, right? So I try to cultivate spaces, and do cultivate spaces around music, right? And I think we both do that. And I think any place can be a third space in that way. Any space where you can have a floor and some hands, you can make music, right? Any place that you have somebody that can speak, you can have music, and that's a third space. Like, something that I imagine often is, like, in the summer times, going to the park and saying we're going to have a gathering and just doing improvisation. I don't know why this kid is so uppity right now, but we're uppity here. And just improvising, right? Using the rocks to make music, using our voices as a drone, and then making sounds and da 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 da. Like, I like to make third spaces around music, and I like to make third spaces around conversations that matter.
We're going to do it. You're going to be hearing a lot from Praolo about the intersection of African American art and indigenous art with the current operatic canon. You're going to be hearing more from her about elevating the voices of all people, especially those who are committed to freedom and justice and liberation work. And you're going to be hearing more from her on her newsletter and podcast. So y'all tune in for that. I wanted to end today with a piece of art. This is a poem called Temporary. And if you really want to know where it came from, you'll have to email me because I snatched it from the internet and I don't know where to attribute it. So if that is a big deal to you and you're catching this on the podcast and you want to catch me in a moment, just send me a DM at Andre and the Flow and I will source this for you. It's just really juicy to me. Whoever the human is that wrote this, may they be blessed. Temporary. Everything, all of it, even the best of it, especially the best of it. We only have so many years to know human love and do human things. Love them, all of them, even the painstaking ones. They too will not last. They are the experience. The insecurity, the experience. The heartache, the experience. The confusion, the experience. The joy, the experience. There's nothing lost if we learn something from it. Your willingness to fail is proportionate to your potential to gain and to grow. The timer never stops running. All you will regret is not reaching harder for the things you actually wanted while they were still in front of you. I want to thank Tara Paolo for being in front of us today. Let's go through our announcements.
Goal Getter has been released to the wild. Not to the wild. If you would like to purchase, you can DM me. I don't have the link set up yet, but I needed to get the marketing going. So just DM me. I'll get you all set up. As it says, it's $35 for all 13 workbooks. I'll drop them to you in one packet. And then also, if you want a guided edition, if you want to walk with me for a year in a group, then feel free to sign up for that portion, which is $10 a month. Fairly affordable. And we're going to get your dreams down to a science and commitment. Yes.
Man, if you told me that I could lift my dreams the next year for the cost of a sandwich a month, I'd be in on it. And we do sliding scale services both in our individual companies and also Love and Action Network. So there is no dream that we can't help you manifest, and there isn't a budget that we can't work with. So that would be a great place for me to tell people about. Just go through everything. Black Friday Biz Blitz.
This is still going on. I've now featured 32 businesses. The slides are available for download from Google. Put your favorites in the comments. We're looking for Black, Indigenous, and or trans businesses to promote over the next, it'll be 6 days. So through next Cyber Monday. And by the end, I think I'll have 88 businesses that I will have promoted. And it's going to be up on the Substack and all that stuff. So just make sure you're following along on social media and dropping things as you think of them.
Amazing. Shout out to the cool kid over there. Now hiring. Love and Action Network has officially opened our hiring portal out. We're looking for people just like you all to take part in our amazing network. Be a part of something bigger than yourself as we unite with talents and diverse artists to celebrate the power of love through music, theater, and art. If you're interested in perhaps volunteering with us or even getting paid here for select roles, then go to our website. It is our hope here in the network that you would feel encouragement, equipment, and empowerment from us, that maybe seeing us live our dream for the last 30 minutes or so here today has made you feel like you can do it too. As you can see, we bring our messy selves, our messy lives, our wild experiences of the day, just as we are to the mat of life. You can also see that even though it's the holidays, we still were disciplined and dedicated to. Is that the dog?
That was the dog growling. Yeah.
He's
right here.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're dedicated to helping you cook your dreams, folks. So just let us know how to get at you. What are your closing thoughts, Tara?
I said this in my Spill the Beans yesterday, which was supposed to be on Fridays, but I did it yesterday because I was feeling lazy this weekend, y'all. It's okay to stick to your guns. Like, it is okay to have a belief or want to center a certain group of people that, you know, you're not causing harm and they're not causing harm. It's okay to stick to your guns in that and continue on, even if it makes other people uncomfortable. And a lot of the things, as you become more radical, as you come across more radical beliefs, as you come across people that, like Dr. Flo and I, that are speaking radically, you're going to get uncomfortable and the people around you are going to get uncomfortable. And I just want you to know that that's okay and to keep going because you are not alone, because we're here with you. You're not alone. Yeah. Want me to take us out? Continue to be anti-racist, be safe, wear a mask, make good trouble, do good work. I love y'all hardcore. You are loved and lovable. Tell 5 people that today. Nobody can change that. Joy is our collective revolution. Step into it and belong to it. And we will see you